Hello, my name is Mark Jordan, and this is my PAD 747 TAB podcast. I will be discussing my topic, which is law enforcement's use of surveillance technology. This topic has been highly controversial and it has stimulated much debate and discussion as it relates to the use of surveillance technology by law enforcement agencies. There have been arguments for and against the use of surveillance technology, and many individuals are of the view that we have become a surveillance state. Nonetheless, there are other segments of society that view the use of surveillance technology as an effective tool that deters crime and aids in the apprehension of criminals. Surveillance technology, as it is, also serves to monitor law enforcement personnel's conduct, and it helps in combating issues such as racial profiling and general police misconduct, which has been on the increase in recent times. There are also a plethora of surveillance technology available and utilized by your law enforcement agencies. One of the most common technology that is used is the cameras. These cameras are usually utilized by governments through their law enforcement arms, such as the police force. And the NYPD, for example, has established a history of video surveillance as a mechanism to fight crime and to detect crime in certain areas. The history of this usage has dated as far back as 1973, when cameras were installed in Times Square. There are also a vast variety of other technologies that are available to law enforcement, and these may either be fixed site or mobile video surveillance technology. Examples of such would be the in-car systems, which record footage of events involving the public and law enforcement officers and their interactions. So, for example, when there are stops, this serves as evidence of the police conduct as it relates to executing their duties, and it also helps to prove if the person stopped was cooperating with the investigation or was conducting themselves in a disorderly manner. Another form of surveillance technology that my paper examines would be the graffiti cameras. This is used to photograph criminals who vandalize property, and it could be done in exact time, live, so the perpetrators could be captured while in progress. There's also the use of thermal imaging, which has been beneficial in the fight against marijuana cultivation. This technology is able to produce images of radiated or reflective surface energy in the thermal portions of electromagnetic spectrum through the use of a non-intrusive device, and it could also detect heat waves. So if, for example, marijuana cultivation is being done in a building, law enforcement could drive by and detect such activities. Another form of surveillance technology that is used is the GPS tracking systems, and this provides an excellent method of tracking law enforcement movements to see if the cops are where they're supposed to be. And it's used to track convicted criminals who are often outfitted with it on their ankles, so you could track them. And it is utilized in vehicles, so it helps to track stolen vehicles. Although many civil libertarians posit the argument that law enforcement use of surveillance technology infringes upon citizen rights and compromises citizens' expectation of privacy, the law and order advocates are convinced that surveillance technology deters crime, and it aids in the professional conduct of the police force and generally safeguards society. A safe society is one of the goals of the government, and they're mandated to ensure that society is safe. So although they're there to protect citizens' rights and privacy, they have to strike some balance, because one could argue if there's no safety, then there'll be no individual who ultimately would have privacy. Some of the advantages of surveillance technology is that it helps to restore public confidence, because people feel safer. They know that if wrongs are done to them and there's evidence, they feel much more comfortable coming forward to report police misconduct, because they know that there's an avenue of proof that shows that what actually transpired. Also, surveillance technology, for example cameras, it helps to subvert crimes, and whenever individuals are aware that there's technology available to detect their wrongdoings, they are less likely to engage in such behavior. And police officers or law enforcement officers also, on the other hand, if they are aware that they are being recorded, then they are less likely to engage in unprofessional behavior. Although surveillance technology offers so many advantages, it must be admitted that there are disadvantages that surveillance technology may posit. For example, wrongdoers may migrate from an area where they're under surveillance to an area where the technology does not exist. That's one situation where it would serve to be disadvantageous. Also, the technology can be abused like anything else. If not properly monitored and utilized, there's the opportunity for it to be abused. So the government has to implement proper policies to ensure that the technology is being properly used and utilized for what it was placed there for. And there's need to ensure that the public is educated that the technology will be utilized for the right purposes, and the public could also be invited to be part of that monitoring body. So if they are part of that, then it proves their trust and their belief in the whole use of surveillance technology. So these are some of the issues that would be discussed in my paper, and that's basically what the paper is about.